the Green Bay Blizzard Coaches Show. I'm Joey Bonadonna. That's Blizzard head coach Corey Roberson. Coach, how are we doing this week?
Hey, we here, baby. We here. Seeing better days, but, it's another day.
It's another day. We're coming off of a 2-game road trip, and a bye was thrown in there as well. The loss to Bismarck last week, and then this past Saturday, a loss on the road to Iowa, 36-18. We'll talk about that one here. A game that you had opportunities. You were in the game, down by 1 at one point in the third quarter, down by 4 early in the fourth quarter, but after that, kind of things just started to unravel after a 48-yard touchdown. Just kind of talk about that game and what your team's taking away from it right now.
We had the opportunity to watch some film today, get better, watch film and get better. So, the takeaways was, it's the broken record, right? We shooting ourselves in the foot over and over again. We played 3 games, 3 close games for the most part, and lost all 3. And it's a lot of miscues by us, capitalization. They capitalized from the other team on things that we, wasn't able to execute on. You talk about mental errors, mental lapses or whatnot. We had quite a few of them, whether it be offense, defense. So, it's really getting better, right? We got a young team, but that's no excuse. You still got to play the game, right? You've been playing football since you were 7 years old for the majority, most of them, at 21, 22, 25. So that's no excuse. We got to focus. We need to be better, focus on ourselves too.
In the midst of this last game against Iowa, Jack Sheehan made his first, got into action for the first time this season, came in the late second, and he finished 11 for 19, 75 yards and 2 touchdowns. Just talk about what Jack did in relief there and what you saw out of him in his first time on the field.
He came in, his first drive, he was a little nervous, right? He the speed of the game, he didn't know it was that fast, right? Practice don't always simulate what the game speed is like. But, that first drive, it was rough for him. He at one point he had threw the ball, maybe it was a third down. He threw the ball probably about 4 rows in the stands, and I was like, oh, crap. This is the type of game we're about to have. And then he settled down. He settled down, threw a touchdown pass, I believe, on his next couple of drives, if I'm not mistaken. Mm-hmm. And he showed the poise that we were looking for at quarterback, and hopefully he's able to carry over some of the energy and passing abilities, leadership that he brings to the table.
And then Torrance Gibson also ended up leading the team in rushing with 42 yards. You talked about in our first episode, those 2 quarterbacks, they both have a different skill sets, and I'm sure we'll see a little bit of both. I would think going forward. What are we looking into this week? Or are we keeping that under wraps?
Well, that's it. That's the show. Joey's the coach. He's making the decisions. No, I'm just playing. No, we'll see how this week goes, right? We'll see how this week goes. Like I said, Jack ended on a high note. We couldn't put the ball in the end zone that last drive right there. We probably had like 20 tries from the 1, that's difficult to watch. But Torrance still he did some great things. His first couple of drives, he moved the ball. Mm-hmm. He did move the ball, minus that fumble that he had. Going into the end zone. He was moving the ball. I think at that point we needed a spark. We had 2 games already with only scoring 23 and 26 points or 27 points. That's pretty tough in this game, not to score points, and the defense is only giving up 26 and 28 points, right? Those games you're supposed to win. And in this situation, we end up giving up what was the score, 36? We gave up 36 points, and that's usually still a win, right? You know what I mean? It's the race to 50. And the way this season has been going, we're going to push it to race to 40. The first team to 40 going to win. And, we have to get there. We have to score points here. And that's been very tough on us these first 3 games, and we got to figure it out. So we'll take a strong look at how practice go and the execution and the competition that we have going on. And, come Thursday, Friday, we'll name our starter.
And going on to the other side of the passing game, the receivers, Keyshawn Taylor was our player of the game, 4 receptions, 35 yards, and 1 touchdown. Keyshawn's kind of been one of your guys that you kept around this roster for the last couple of years. Just kind of talk about the leadership role that he's been in for the last couple of years and how he's been a staple of your squads here with Green Bay.
Yeah, no, Keyshawn is, his first year, probably one of the youngest guys on the team, and he's stuck around, for the past 3 seasons since 2019, and he's developed and he's been growing ever since. He understands what we're looking for. He understands the expectations, and I think he's starting to get back to his old form of his first year here with the all-around Keyshawn that we know. The blocking, the route running, the catching the ball. It's been a rough stretch, when he's dealing with injuries or whatnot, but this last week we kind of saw the full package of Keyshawn Taylor, and hopefully that's what's going to carry on from here to come.
You kind of touched on the injuries. Des Stewart was out this past week. Keyshawn's kind of been in and out. Your receiver room definitely has a lot of talent. What are you kind of hoping to see with all these guys coming back from injuries? Hopefully that kind of gives life to the offense a little bit.
We're looking for some big plays. We got a nice receiving core, big play capability, and we're looking for them to make the big play, right? All it takes is one, because when you make a big play, that becomes contagious, right? And then that feeds off, the defense feeds off that energy, the rest of the offense feeds off that energy, and that's something to watch, right? And we got the capabilities of doing it, so hopefully someone steps up and be that guy who's going to be consistent in that category.
Moving to the other side of the football, defensively, Mamadou Mbaye had 10 tackles. He missed the first game, but he's played the last 2 games, had double-digit tackles in both of them. Just kind of talk about how Mamadou last year had a lot of his interception numbers were high, and while his tackle numbers were very good as well. The kind of different role he's taken on of making a lot of plays, getting the ball, and making tackles.
Yeah, no, Mamadou is, he's one of our captains. He's one of the leaders of the team, especially on that defensive side of the ball. Having him back there is great. His leadership is second to none. He's every bit of advertised, and you can understand why a lot of teams, including, he has some CFL talks, right, this offseason. So we're very fortunate to have Mamadou Mbaye back, looking for him to continue to be great as he continued to push through the injury that he started off the season with and bring everybody else in the secondary along with him.
And then we move forward into this week. Like I said, it's another day. It's currently sitting at 0-3, but that one win, that
it becomes contagious, right?
That one thing can become contagious, and none better than the Frisco Fighters coming into town. I was actually kind of looking back on it. The first game of the 2020 season was supposed to be against Frisco. I remember I was going back. I found all my notes that I had ready for that game. For that broadcast, and unfortunately we didn't get it, but now finally they're here in town. They're currently 2-1. They beat Tucson last week. Their head coach, Billy Back, he's been around the league. I believe this is your first time coaching against him as a head coach. Talk about what Coach Back has kind of been to the league and what you're looking forward to in the first matchup against him here.
Coach Back is a good coach, right? His resume speaks for itself, and he comes with a good following of talent, talented players that follows him everywhere he goes, and and it speaks for himself when you look at his record. You look at the history of Billy Back, championship guy in another league, and playoff contender in the IFL for a good some seasons. I wouldn't say every season. He's been in the IFL, but some seasons, and when he was down in Wichita Falls or whatnot. So Billy Back is, we talk here and there in the offseason. He's, he spoke highly on some players that he recommended to us, especially when he was in a different league. Not so much now since he's been in this league, but he's also made some trades with us to give us some guys that's, contributing with our ball club as well. So, he's a good coach. We speak. I wouldn't necessarily say that's my best friend, but we got a good relationship.
Right.
We got a decent relationship.
And one of those guys that he brought over from last year, quarterback Blake Sims, former 2-time national championship of the Alabama Crimson Tide, and had a pretty successful season. Made some pretty nice plays in some big games for Spokane. Talk about the matchup that you're expecting out of Blake Sims at quarterback this week?
He's a national champion. You know, not a lot of people in this league can say they won a national championship at any level, right? And he's one of very few, especially at the big stage of, you know, Division I college football. So, you know, we're looking for him to come in and be who he is. You know, that's for the fans to decide, and, you know, as far as the matchups and all that stuff, you know, we focusing on ourselves. We're getting better. We're trying to focus on how we can make ourselves better, you know, and that's the process. But Billy and Blake, you know, they've been, you know, like Billy would say, see, this is one of the conversations we have, you know, Swiss Army knife. That's what he called Blake Sims. So, you know, it seems like that's his new quarterback that he's rolling with. They got another quarterback with T.J. Edwards. So, you know, they kind of run that 2-quarterback system, and both quarterbacks can start on some other teams. So, you know, look, it's going to be a good game this weekend, and, you know, we look forward to the challenge.
Great game, good matchup coming into Green Bay. What's your message to the team this week? We were kind of just talking about it before. It looks like it's going to be a packed crowd. Kids Night's always a fun atmosphere. But and actually, I want to go back to the 2019 season. I think Kids Night was against Quad City.
Quad Cities, yeah, laser show, right?
That's I got to say that's one of my favorite games that I've ever seen here in Green Bay, in indoor football in general, my favorite broadcast. So hopefully we can see a little bit of those fireworks this week against Frisco. But ultimately, what's your message to the team this week coming in with, you know, the largeness, I guess, of this game coming up?
I mean, you know, every game you want to win, right? But, you know, as a ball team, we need to focus on us. We need to focus on what we do well, get better at that. And what we don't do well, focus on that and clean it up and get better at it. That's the message, really. You know, it's getting better. I always talk about getting 3% better every day, you know, every time we get together, and that's our focus. So, you know, it's not a message to focus on Frisco. Of course, we're going to watch Frisco to see what they're doing, but we got to get better at what we do.
And finally, our human interest question, I'm going to bring this back for every episode. This week, does pineapple belong on pizza?
You know what? Absolutely. My mother loved pineapples on pizza. It was like a Hawaiian pizza we used to get when we was growing up.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I'm on my mom's good side.
Shout out to my mom's out in the crowd here tonight. We both like Hawaiian pizza, so I will put it out there. So yeah, Hawaiian pizza. It's just something different. So
right.
Yeah, I would say as well. I would say for sure Hawaiian pizza, pineapple on pizza. It's not an everyday thing, but it's good. Right. I will eat it.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
we're in agreement on that one.
I had no choice growing up. That you either ate what she cooked or bought, or you don't eat. So it was real simple.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Well, that will just about wrap it up for this episode of the Green Bay Blizzard Coaches Show. Game this Saturday against the Frisco Fighters at the Resch Center. It's Kids Night. Should be a fun atmosphere. So come out, support the Blizzard. And again, I'll just about wrap it up. I'm Joey Bonadonna. That's head coach Corey Roberson. And as always, go Blizz.